Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Vladof Assault Rifles. This one I'm really excited about because this might be the highlight of this entire series. Vladof Assault Rifles are flat out amazing, and it's kind of even cooler considering the fact that most people don't really like assault rifles, and yet here we are with just a handful of amazing guns. So let's just dive in. Vladof assault rifles, they have two different barrels, which is kind of cool. You have your typical Vladof barrel, like the skewering rifle here, which just has a fast fire rate, very little to no recoil, low damage, high magazine. Or you have your spin barrels here, which massive magazine, better fire rate, you have some spin up time to get to the full fire rate. And I don't really want to compare these two because one's non-elemental and purple versus a shock blue, so the damage numbers are going to be off. I'm just going to compare, these to these. But yeah, it's just raw speed. So we're going to start with the Lead Storm. I'm just going to go in order here. So the Lead Storm compared to your regular spin gun, you have almost insignificantly higher damage, but it's cool. Lower accuracy, and you're going to kind of see why. Better fire rate, and a bigger mag size by a tiny amount there. Just 3 on 57 isn't much. You lose a little bit on reload, but on the Lead Storm, I should just go outside for this in the Hale. You can see you have a split here. So that's 3 pellets, if you can see that. And honestly, these going into the sky are kind of hard to see. That might be a better backdrop if he gets out of my way, but you can see each one splits into 3 pellets there. I should buy some ammo here. I should have done that before I started the video, so apologies for wasting your time here in an ammo vendor. Okay. So, the Lead Storm, as you saw, it kind of shoots in an arc and splits down there. So you see, it's hard to crit with. There we go. But that's without the split. So you can see it was 551 there on a crit. Now, Vladof assault rifles are not known for crits. But there you can see. You're just putting out a ton of damage here. And, on bigger bosses where you can crit and get all those on there, it's just a wall of bullets, especially with that split. He's a little too close to really get this split here. I wonder if I can do it from over here. There's the splitting a little bit. But although this doesn't look very impressive on a test dummy, it is very impressive. Let's see. So you can see just flat out, it's doing more on a crit than this did. And these aren't doing crazy crit numbers like the snipers or Jacob's ARs that you saw, but well, this one's a little easier to keep on crit. With the higher damage and the bullet split, the Lead Storm just does massive damage. And it's a gun that looks a lot better in play than it does in this test dummy. And this is incredibly powerful, one of the most powerful guns in the game with the right setup. You can just absolutely demolish things with this. Yeah, I think this is one of the few Seraphs that I think are really deserving of what it is. And oddly enough, it's a Seraph you can just buy out of a vendor rather than having to beat a raid boss for it. So even better. It's easy to acquire. Just go beat up Pete until you have enough crystals, and there you go. You've got an awesome gun. Pretty much all the characters can make this really work well too. I don't think there's any character in the game that really can't use a Lead Storm. So, moving on, we have the Shred-a-Fire, which is a legendary spin gun. Now the Shred-a-Fire is just better in every way than a spin gun. So, well, not quite the Hammer Buster, but I'd rather see this where it's better on pretty much all the stats than just, increased damage. So, starting off here, that's not bad. It's somewhat generic, but damage, again, minimal. Accuracy, minimal. The fire rate, that actually does matter. And the magazine size definitely matters. But the other thing about it is... So, again, we saw this gun. You can see it starts off pretty slow. And this spins up faster than a regular spin gun. I don't know if you could really tell that there. But after the third bullet, it's pretty much up there. For this one, it takes about 6 or 7 bullets to get up there. I might have to buy ammo again with these guns. So the Shred-a-Fire, again, very good upgrade to the purple version. Now, Shred-a-Fire in OP8 is one of those guns that suffers a little bit from some scaling. It lacks some of that punch, and you end up just using a ton of ammo to kill enemies. It's definitely got the killing power, but it's one of those cases where you're popping out so many bullets to kill enemies. This is a gun actually in OP8. Because of the massive fire rate and magazine size, I actually go away from a Vladof grip on it. Get a little bit more out of each bullet. You lose, the fire rate and mag size, but really 83. If you're using an entire mag to kill one enemy, you're just wasting bullets at that point. So this is a gun actually that's worth looking into, going non-matching parts to get a little more kick out of it, because before OP8 probably not, but at OP8 that's a viable option since it just kind of becomes a bullet waster. And if you have issues with assault rifles wasting bullets, that can be an issue since they have some of the deepest magazine sizes out there. Next, let's go do our Moxie guns. So, let's see, we got our Vladof. Gotta make sure I'm not getting the bandit one. Alright, so since we just did the Lead Storm, let's start with the Hale. So you can see the Hale here. You have increased damage, increased accuracy, increased magazine size, increased critical hit as well. Now that critical hit modifier isn't actually accurate because the Vladof assault rifles do have the 20% Type C crit bonus, or penalty more accurately. So it's actually a higher bonus than that, but after the 20% it comes down to that. And I'll show you that in the thread on the math. The other thing the Hale has is, again, doesn't look much like this. So let's just shoot him once in the body. 192. 393. The Hale has 80% splash damage. And that increased hit. Wow, I am all over not critting here. There we go. 1.2 million on a crit. Now for an assault rifle, that's really, really good. As you can see, it's 280 versus 1.2 million. That's a massive difference. So I'm going to go outside and shoot this so you guys can see it a little bit better. You should be familiar with a Hale at this point, but see, like the Lead Storm, it has an arc. Now the Lead Storm, to hit enemies, often you have to aim up a little bit. With the Hale, you aim down. Now on console, because you don't have FOV controls, this can be a little harder to use, but I use it on console a lot. And it's kind of a close range gun. You're not sniping. And at this range, that's not that bad, even on lower FOVs. You're not shooting like this and watching those bullets go to the ceiling. You are aiming down a little bit and hitting him. It takes practice to get used to, but this gun is insane. Now, you know, the Lead Storm's got that bullet split. I should have shot this slowly so you can see. This also has a bullet split. So you can see, it's got a 2 bullet split instead of 3. But with the massive critical hit bonus, which after the penalty is 150, so that's all good. So you have 150% crit bonus, you have 80% splash damage, you have an unlisted pellet, you have a fast fire rate, a deep magazine, it's a decent reload speed, I think I already said fast fire rate. This gun is just completely pimped out. You can do so much with this. Once again, I mean, just compare it there. So not only that you just got 3 stats increase, but again, 80% splash damage, which is high splash damage. 80% is really good. And then you can buff that 80%. And it is the kind of splash damage you get. It's grenade buffs, so Krieg and Axton absolutely destroy with this thing. But Maya, even though the splashes get Reaper, she still just annihilates with this. It's great with chain reaction because bullet split and just fire rate, and man, this gun is incredible. Oh yeah, it's a Moxie gun. So you also have lifesteal. And I will quick... Oh, I don't have my turtle shield on me. Well, let's just see how much I don't have any grenades. This is all a fail. I'm sorry. Oh wait, I should have a health relic. There we go. So you can see, it doesn't take much to get your health up there, and that's on a non-slagged enemy with no skills, so you slag an enemy, you have some skills to boost the damage a lot, you heal really fast with this thing. So that's the Hale in a nutshell. My first time getting this gun, I threw it away, because I'm like, oh, I can't use this thing, look how it shoots, it's so stupid, I couldn't figure it out. Once I learned how to use this, this is one of the best guns in the game. It is absolute devastating what it can do. So don't let the firing pattern ruin this gun for you. Just stick it out, learn to use it. You know, if you play Gauge, you better have it because it's so good on Gauge. But like I said, it's really good on all the characters. So, you know, go through Finks. Finks is fun. It's an awesome reward. It's an amazing gun. It is without a doubt incredibly worth getting. So, now we move on to the Kitten, the other Moxie assault rifle. Now, the Kitten, that's a nice stat line. So, you get bullets times 3, damage times 3, 3 pellets per shot. You increase your accuracy. You lose a little on the fire rate, but you gain on reload and mag. And once again, you have your typical Moxie lifesteal. Let's see it compared to the Hale here. So pretty solid as well, and the same thing applies. If you pop on, you know, Slag, Match Element, get your skills in there, you heal really fast with this thing. I'm going to go find a wall up here that I can shoot. Probably going to have to go to the center of town. Now you guys have probably seen this, but smiley face. And we're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad. This is a beautiful Easter egg. You gotta love it. That firing pattern kind of brings it down a little bit because it's hard to land crits with this thing. But you're just putting out a wall of bullets. It's one of my actually go-to raiding guns. On a lot of raid bosses, they go into these annoying phases that, you know, throwing chain lightning with the grog, you're eventually going to lose out to just constantly getting bashed. The masher phase on Terramorphous, Hyperius, when he goes into his what we call Slim Jim mode, Veracitus just charging you. This thing can put out enough sustained damage, including its deep mag and reload, especially when you put skills in it, that you can survive through those. Whereas if you have a grog and you're just throwing chain lightnings, you're eventually going to die. So this is a gun I really like, especially Maya rating, because you know Maya's not Sal and some of these other guys. So this is an incredibly good gun. So again, you can see it's kind of hard to land crits there. So 754 versus 321. Let's see if I can show that again. $342, $548. So 342 is a single crit. It's hard to tell with this gun if you're hitting it with 1 bullet, 0 bullets, or 2. 342 and a critical, so that's your low point. Which is still, on a single crit, higher, just barely. The sad thing, it doesn't have an extra crit modifier like pretty much all the other Moxie guns. I know I said that for the Cherami and I had to take it back, but this one doesn't. But it's so hard to land crits, I don't mind that. The 3 pellets are just awesome on it. It's a fun gun. It's got an awesome looking skin on it. The shooting in the smiley face is great. There's just so many good things at this gun, as long as you realize it's not a long range gun. And it's cool to have Moxie guns that are just good guns for killing, not just like the Grog and the Ruby that are really just used for healing and not for actual combat. So I really, really love the Kitten and the Hale almost equally. Which is tough because they're so different, but they're so good. I think they're both incredibly fun. And they're both really good on all the characters. And I'll dive into that a lot more in the thread once again, because I don't want to make this too long. I think I've already rambled quite a bit in this one. And now we're going to the final one. The Revere. This is... it's just a melee weapon, let's be honest. You take more melee damage when you have this on you from enemies, but you do 200% melee damage. And the highest gun for melee damage outside of that's the Law at 100%. Most do 50%. You know, it's not good to shoot. You can get it in slag, so you can slag the enemies, but it's not even a good slagging gun. It's just purely a melee gun, so who cares about shooting it? It's just all about stab. Which, you know, he's too far away to demonstrate, but, you know, it's the best melee gun in the game, and that makes it awesome, so who cares about the stats? So we just went through 5 different red text guns, 4 assault rifles, and they're all really awesome. The Shredifire is probably the worst of these, it definitely is, and it's still a really good gun. This is just an incredible success story here. None of these guns really have any drawbacks except for the Rapier, and it's 200% melee makes it worth those in spades. I mean, that's just incredible. So go get yourself some Vladof assault rifle red text guns. I mean, even regular Vladof assault rifles are decent, but not only these are good, but they're interesting. You know, the Lead Storm, the Hale, the Kitten. All 3 of these guns just, you know, are interesting firing patterns. You know, you have this, you have the Hale, you have the Kitten. All 3 of these work so differently. And this is what Borderlands, not completely, but this is a big difference between Borderlands and other shooters. You don't see other first-person shooters, should stay still, they have a gun like the Kitten, or the Hale, or the Lead Storm. These are interesting and unique, and take some getting used to playing with, and some skill, and you can abuse the... I don't know if abuse is the right word, but yeah, you can abuse these with skills and comms and relics and all sorts of different gear in combination with stuff. You know, and the Shredify is a little more straightforward, as long as the kind of Rapier is kind of straightforward. So, just awesome, interesting guns. They're all good. And I don't know if we're going to find a subset of gear from any vendor in a certain type that is good as Vladof assault rifles are. So, next time people say assault rifles suck, just mention Vladof and say you're fucking wrong. Because they are. These are amazing, awesome, powerful guns that are definitely good for raiding, as well as mobbing. And that is awesome. So, yeah, go shoot some things. And I didn't need more ammo, so hooray me. Like, comment, subscribe, come over to the forums. I will get these up, and I think there's going to be a lot to say about these, because there's a lot to say about these guns. See you guys later, and thanks for watching. Bye.